Ukraine's grain export is an important and thriving sector in the country's economy. As one of the world's largest grain exporting nations, Ukraine plays a crucial role in the global grain market. The country is rich in agricultural resources, including vast arable land, favorable climate conditions, and abundant water resources, which provide favorable conditions for grain production. The main grain products exported by Ukraine include wheat, corn, soybeans, barley, and oats. Among them, wheat is the primary grain export product for Ukraine, with a stable market demand, particularly in the Black Sea and Middle East regions. Ukraine's corn exports have also been increasing year by year, making it a significant corn supplier globally. Additionally, soybeans, barley, and oats are essential components of Ukraine's grain exports. The growth of Ukraine's grain exports can be attributed to several factors. Firstly, modernization and technological advancements in Ukrainian agriculture have improved grain yield and quality. Secondly, Ukraine's advantageous geographical location near major consumer markets in Europe and Asia facilitates grain exports. Furthermore, the Ukrainian government actively promotes the development of agriculture and grain exports through preferential policies and trade agreements, attracting more international partners. According to data from Tendata, Ukraine's grain export markets are mainly concentrated in Asia, Europe, and Africa. China, Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and India are the major destinations for Ukraine's grain exports. These countries have stable demands for Ukrainian grains, especially for wheat and corn. The development of Ukraine's grain export industry has driven the growth of the agricultural value chain and contributed to rural economic prosperity. Farmers' income and employment opportunities have improved, and rural infrastructure and services have been enhanced. Moreover, Ukraine's grain exports have made significant contributions to global food security and international market supply. Despite the flourishing grain export business in Ukraine, there are also some challenges. The global grain market is highly competitive, and factors such as price fluctuations and trade frictions may impact Ukraine's grain exports. Therefore, Ukraine needs to continue enhancing agricultural modernization and technological innovation, improve grain quality and competitiveness, and actively explore new export markets to ensure stable and sustainable growth in grain exports. Regarding the grain trade between Ukraine and Russia, it has been historically significant and close due to their previous association as part of the Soviet Union. Under the planned economy system, extensive grain trade occurred between the two countries. During that period, Ukraine was known as the region's grain repository, mainly producing wheat and corn, while Russia had advantages in other grain crops such as barley, soybeans, and oats. As a result, there was a substantial complementary trade between the two nations in the grain sector. However, in recent years, political tensions and conflicts have affected the trade relationship between Ukraine and Russia. With trade restrictions imposed on Russia, Ukraine began seeking alternative markets, primarily in Europe and Asia. Ukraine's grain exports have shifted towards Asian countries, such as China, Iran, Turkey, and European countries, such as Egypt, Italy, and Spain. These countries have stable demands for Ukrainian grains, especially for wheat and corn. The grain trade between Ukraine and Russia faces challenges in seeking diversified markets. The global grain market is highly competitive, and factors such as price fluctuations and trade frictions may impact the grain export business. Therefore, Ukraine needs to continue enhancing agricultural modernization and technological innovation, improve grain quality and competitiveness, while actively exploring new export markets to ensure stable and sustainable growth in grain exports. Ukraine and Russia are two important grain-producing countries that used to have close grain trade relations. However, due to recent geopolitical situations and conflicts, the grain trade relationship between the two nations has changed. While Ukraine seeks alternative markets, it also faces competition and challenges in the global market. By strengthening agricultural modernization and technological innovation and actively seeking new opportunities for cooperation, Ukraine is poised to maintain a competitive advantage and achieve steady growth in the grain export sector. How to find Ukrainian grain suppliers. Trade shows and exhibitions. Participating in Ukrainian trade shows and grain-related exhibitions is an effective way to connect with suppliers. At these events, you can engage in face-to-face interactions with multiple Ukrainian grain suppliers, learn about their products and services, and establish business relationships. Utilize trade platforms and online resources. Modern trade platforms and online resources provide convenient channels to find Ukrainian grain suppliers and communicate with them online. For example, Tendata customs data allows you to specify Ukraine as the country, enter the product name grain, and search for Ukrainian grain exporters. You can access trade records and detailed supplier information to quickly get in touch with potential suppliers. Site visits and on-site inspections. Select a few potential suppliers for site visits and inspections to assess their production facilities, product quality, and management capabilities to ensure they meet your requirements. Understand the Ukrainian grain market and policies, gain insights into the supply and demand situation, policies, and regulations of the Ukrainian grain market. This will help you find suppliers that align with market rules. Ukraine is one of the world's major grain exporting nations, and its grain export policies are crucial for the country's economy. The government often implements measures to support and promote grain exports, such as export subsidies, simplifying export procedures, and reducing export taxes to encourage grain exports and increase foreign exchange earnings. Subscribe to our channel for more information about the import and export industry. See you in the next video.